Yo, Jay. Wait. What?
Yo, Jay, this is your show where I A your cue. Gross.
Ow.
You know what's even grosser? If I really aid your cue. Like I'm talking, you want your cue aid like deeper than it's ever been aid before.
Ow.
Gross.
Ow. Ow.
That's a double gross. Yo, Jay, we are talking today about functional training and functional training for groups. How do you take a team of athletes or fitness enthusiasts, train a group of people functionally? It sounds almost impossible. And I want to break down these barriers and show you some very simple ways that you can train functionally, get the most out of your athletes, and at the same time, keep it fun, energetic, give them a good workout, satisfy the needs of the entire group while not risking injuring one of your athletes.
Oh my gosh.
So let's get started with Yo Jay. This one comes from Scott. I'm gonna have to edit that one out. This Yo Jay comes from Chris Bates. He's an ATC and a CSCS. And what he says is this. Jason, I'm going to surmise. The start of it is, I appreciate your perspective in integrations of the screens and assessments of your training. Blah, 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 blah. A whole bunch of really nice things are being said. He goes on, Jay, you're one of the most handsome strength coaches I've ever seen. And I don't mean that in a weird way. I'm just like saying that you are handsome. And maybe you resemble Brad Pitt. Maybe a mixture between Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum, everybody. Hold on one second. Sorry? Oh yeah, no problem. Sorry. I get this all the time. Not in the office. I'm in the middle of doing a Yo Jay. Do you mind? Yeah, no problem. No, and what's your name? Who's it for? Okay, no problem. Great. And good luck. Very good. Signing autographs in the middle of a Yo Jay. Professional? I think not. Let's get started with this question because what Chris has said is working with 16 different teams.
Wow.
He struggles with trying to keep the energy up in a session, try to keep the training up to where the fit and strong and functional people want to be, while still addressing some of the correctives needed for some of the people that are still in that phase of maybe fixing some of their non-functional movement patterns. This is a challenge, Chris, and I'm glad you brought this up because I get this email probably once, twice a month, someone asking me, how can you train functionally and still make it a good workout? So my first question to you is this, what is functional? Because I get all the time, like people say, yeah, I used to be a functional trainer, but now I'm a CrossFit trainer. I just felt like my clients weren't getting the results that the whole functional thing. It's like, yeah, sure, you can touch your toes now, but you got a gut. What are you talking about? Or you get the, no, I used to train functionally. I used to. I had the Bosu ball, I had the Swiss ball and everything, but those are out the window, sister. I'm a Zumba instructor now. Really? Why can't you be a functional Zumba instructor? I don't know. I'm sure they exist. The point is this. Function doesn't have to exclude a workout. Function just means that you've assessed somebody's movement, you've assessed their quality of movement, and you deem that that range of motion or the quality of movement isn't functional or up to par. That's all. So in our world, we say, we're not going to load a non-functional or dysfunctional movement pattern. If we start loading that, and what I mean by loading is like adding weights, like just adding more weights onto a body and a movement pattern that is non-functional, what we're going to do is we're going to reinforce bad movements. And by reinforcing and strengthening bad movements, we're actually increasing the chance of injuring our athlete.
Oh my gosh.
So what I want to do is this. I want to give you some parameters. If you're with a large group, every person in that group has different needs. Some people want to be energized in their workout, have a good sweat, and they want to just like feel like get those endorphins going. Others are just trying to get through the workout without, too much stress and strain on the body because they don't want to be sore for 3 days later. This is a challenge. So the only way you're going to get through this is through good communication. And what I mean by communication is each athlete has to be responsible for themselves. They have to understand what we're trying to accomplish in the session, and they have to also understand what they're trying to get out of the session. So I always do this. I put my athletes into buckets. Not like Oscar the Grouch. I'm talking about like buckets. Was he even in a bucket? I guess that was a garbage can, wasn't it? Bucket, garbage can. Wasn't there a bucket head? Guns N' Roses is at Coachella this year, and I don't think Buckethead's going to be there. Hopefully not. Anyways, I digress. The point of this is this. You're going to put them into different buckets. So you're going to screen all your athletes. Screen them individually or screen them in teams, but the point is this. Every single athlete is going to know what their limitations are. If they know what their limitations are, you can put them into buckets, and when you're presenting an exercise or a particular movement that you want the group to do, you can exclude the people that are going to struggle with that movement pattern based on their limitation. For instance, let me give you an example. Let's say one of your athletes has limited hip flexion. So if you did an active straight leg raise, so they're laying on their back and they raise a leg up as high as they possibly can. If they raise their leg up as high as they can, laying on their back, and their leg only goes to 45 degrees, we know that 80 plus degrees is functional. But if they can't, let's say they're only at 45 degrees, well, that person has a non-functional active straight leg raise. So we have to do some correctives. We have to decide whether it's a mobility issue or it's a stability issue. We're going to flush all that out during our assessment or our screening phase. But once we know that it's, let's say, a stability issue, we know that there's a core stability issue and they struggle to raise that leg up. When we get to any kind of hip hinge exercise, for instance, one of the sexiest exercises like the kettlebell swing, or even better for rotational athletes, the 180-degree kettlebell swing. That is such a sexy and fun exercise to do, but if you took that person with limited hip flexion and tried to do that same exercise with them, you're going to injure them.
Oh my gosh.
The chances of you injuring them is very high because they don't have adequate hip hinge to complete that exercise. So what I do is this. I'm in my session, I'm setting up my circuit, or I'm setting up the workout parameters. And when I'm telling the team, I'm like, okay, this particular station right here, this is our hip hinge station. So if you're functional and you're moving really well, like John here and Tina and Peter and Jorge Posada, you guys right here, you guys are going to be working on this hip hinge swing, the kettlebell swing, the 180-degree kettlebell swing. But for my hip hinge people, you know who you are. And this is the key. They do know who they are because you've had that conversation with them. For you guys, you're going to do your hip hinge correctives. Now, for instance, I have a level 1, level 2, level 3 hip hinge correctives on my next level site. So they would be doing their homework off the website. They'd be doing the homework on how to fix hip hinge at home. That is their responsibility. It is not my responsibility in the team environment to bring the whole team down to their level so that we're all working on a corrective when we can raise the game of the entire team up here and bring that one individual down who has hip hinge restrictions and have them working at the appropriate level for where they're at. You can do this for all your different buckets. So I'm going to have a T-spine bucket. I'm going to have a hip bucket, hip hinge bucket. Maybe there's a hip extension bucket. Maybe there is a core stability bucket. You're going to have different groups based on what their limitations are. If you do this, it's going to allow you, when they leave that hip hinge station, for instance, let's say they were doing their correctives. They were doing maybe taking a band, they're pulling it across their chest, and then doing active straight leg raises. So they're getting good core activation. They're kind of involving core stability, hip hinge, and now they're getting some good movement. After they do that corrective exercise, they're going to get up off the ground, and now they're going to jump right back into the next station, which might be an upper body exercise, and it might be dynamic in nature as well. Maybe it's some high lows with bands like this working on scapular retraction and really working on some good scapular stability. Well, they can jump right in there and go to the highest level of that exercise. Meanwhile, one of their teammates who was just in the hip hinge area just doing kettlebell swings might have to regress once they hit the T-spine area because they have some issues with scapular stability, posture, maybe their shoulders round forward. They might just simply be doing some soft tissue work to open up their chest in that station so they can now strengthen their back. So really, this whole environment requires a couple things. It requires really good screening process. It requires really good communication so each athlete knows what their limitations are and they're made responsible for their own limitations. And then thirdly, it takes a lot of organization. You have to know how each station is going to have regressions and progressions based on the group that you're training. I always have each station I'm going to have in my circuits whenever I'm working with a team. I'm always going to have a push station, a pull station. I'm going to have a hip hinge station, vertical thrust, which is usually in the hip hinge. I'm going to have a rotational station. I just went backwards on my fingers. I'm not subtracting or adding. I just ran out of fingers. But the key here is that each station always has 3 to 5 exercises for progressions and regressions based on the student's needs. So, Chris, I hope that answers your question, and I hope that gives you the YoJ that you were looking for in descriptive. I also have, based off of this one, there is a podcast, episode 121 of the Coach Class podcast. Get it on iTunes. You guys can check that out, and it's on functional training, one-on-one secrets behind functional training, and we break it down in a half-hour episode. But as promised, I wanted to get this one out on groups on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss another hashtag YoJ. Don't also forget, that's a double negative, Jay. Don't forget to also sign up for our Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope, which is happening live right now. We are doing a Periscope while we're doing this, and you would be missing out on this if you did not sign up for the Coach Glass Periscope. Make sure you do that and check out the Next Level website, Coach Glass Next Level website at jasonglasslab.com, and you can check out my level 1, level 2, and level 3 T-spine and hip correctives, as well as 40 other full-length videos on human performance. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, and I hope I aid your cue effectively. Ow! Cheers, everybody.
Logos only, logos only.
Yo, Jay.
Logos only,
Yo, Jay.
logos only,
Yo, Jay.
logos only,
Yo, Jay.
logos only, logos only, logos only.
Whew, I'm nervous, guys. Why am I so nervous? I don't know what to do with my hands. The hearts, I can feel the hearts while I'm looking in this camera. I got hearts going on in this camera. Don't wear out your finger. You still need that for later. I don't know what for, but I'm sure you will need that finger later. Hair plugs looking good. Hair plugs are looking good. By the way, don't get hair plugs and then shave your head like this. It's a waste of money. Okay, here we go.